place where
he knows he has to move. There it is.
That was a sleigh.
Lights shine at their brightest. Last week at Ferox, we saw the elite competitors go fast and furious through the challenge course, as two former world champions, Madeline Medeiros and Jay Lewis, stamped signature wins. This week, we head down south, where so far the youth divisions have faced brutal challenges and buzzers have been at a premium. How well will our elite athletes handle the pressure of our toughest course yet? Will Yuri Prokudin or Silas Snyder be our first elite international athlete to qualify for the finals? After finishing fourth at the World Championship a year ago, can Brooks Bieber break through to the podium tonight? Will Tom Alberti make the most of his second attempt to qualify? And on the women's side, will Savannah Helms or Lila Nathison emerge victorious in a mano-a-mano battle? It's time to find out as we put the best ninjas in the world to the test. From Moda School of Movement in Greenville, South Carolina, this is the World Ninja League Premier Series. Hello everyone, I'm Alex Cunningham alongside Jack Anderson. Jack, as I said in the intro, so far this course has been brutal and a lot of divisions have seen only one clear.
Yeah, Alex, that's been a recurring theme throughout today. I think we've been surprised by the difficulty of the course. I mean, if we just look back a moment ago to the teen male division, we saw some of our best competitors come out on some of the most difficult obstacles we've seen so far. So with the elites really stepping up and the course difficulty ramping up to another level, I think we're going to see these athletes really pushed. But luckily, we have a stacked lineup here today.
We certainly do, and even though there are only two women in the elite female division this week, they are both incredibly talented, the first of whom is Savannah Helms, the number one point standing athlete in the Southeast. 1 minute 15 seconds for the placement course. It determines the run order for the challenge course. One fall and you're done.
Yeah, this is definitely known as a speed course. The placements is all about going as fast as you can. We've seen a lot of clears in the placement course, and we've seen, most importantly, Alex, that the order in which you run and the order in which you secure your place for the Challenger course is absolutely essential and makes a world of difference.
It certainly does. When you and I commentated the teen male division, the top four were the exact same as they were in the placement course, and we are underway as Savannah Helms begins her placement course.
Savannah really attacking this course, knowing that time is of the essence, and while she may only have one other competitor here in the elite division, she wants to show up and set the standard.
Taking a lot of backswings. I would like to see some linked dismounts here, although that, I believe, is a further dismount than the other divisions have had to do. On the ring slider now.
Everything gets... In general, everything gets ramped up for the elites. We like to make it really, really hard as they move through dropping boxes and onto flywheel. Savannah is moving with a great pace so far.
We've seen some athletes come undone on the dismount of the flywheel. Hopefully that does not happen to Savannah here. Although her time is starting to tick down.
Yeah, it looks like she's going to try and go safe and slow and steady wins the race sometimes, Alex, as we have seen with other competitors. Savannah now coming into the warped wall with 13 seconds left on the clock. This is looking like a very solid run for the opening of the elites.
She gets the buzzer, that's the important part, so Lila Nathison will have to clear the entire course. As we take one more look at Savannah's run.
You could just see her at the end there, just absolutely gassed by the difficulty of this course. But regardless, an incredible run. She got there in the end, and that really sets the precedent for hopefully what we can expect from the rest of our elites.
Well, Lila was in 6th place at the World Championship last month, actually 2 months ago now, in Greensboro, North Carolina, not too far from here. She made it to the second to last obstacle, stage 1.
Now lining up toss-up. I wonder if we'll see some links, which it looks like we will,
there
Alex. Lila is going all out on this course. She is determined to set an incredible time.
Might want to put some of the men to shame while she's at it.
This is looking to be a really fast time.
105
I
the time to
believe
beat,
they-
and it looks like she's on pace for it, although having a little bit of trouble getting to that flywheel. There it is.
Yeah, now coming into the warped wall.
Oh,
having a bit of a
my
stumble
goodness.
there.
Yeah, a bit of a stumble. Gonna take one more shot at the 12-foot wall, just barely getting it. And Lila Matheson will be in the driver's seat heading into the challenge course.
Of course, just all around such a solid run. It's really nice to see the links coming out at such an early stage in this competition. I believe with the flywheel, they've actually got to travel further, it seems, than what our younger competitors had to. Going a bit too fast there into the warped wall, but managed to recover and still set the top time for the elite females, which is, of course, Alex, going to be crucial coming into it. But now we're on to the elite males.
Kirby Coggins, and it looks like the elite male have about 20 obstacles to do on this placement course. In all
It
seriousness,
does.
Kirby was a late add, so we don't have any bio information on him, but so far he is doing very well, very solid, very smooth.
Of course, and it's always difficult setting the precedent for all the other competitors. There's going to be so many elite males coming at it today who are looking for those top times. But Kirby's making light work of this course so far as he moves into flywheel. Again, he's really got to take that time to build up that lâche. It's clearly quite a distance to fly through.
Yeah, this is a lot further than the other divisions had to do, and Kirby not able to make the jump.
Yeah, you can see the pressure getting to him there. The speed of and the intensity of the course does require you sometimes to cut some corners, and that cost him a little bit there. But who knows, Alex? Maybe the other elites will fall. Otherwise, we might see him first up in the Challenger course.
So a tough break for Kirby there as we head to Jonathan Castaneda. A name that I've definitely seen around the circuit for a number of years.
Jonathan is age 30, so he's going to be going up against some of the young guns and showing them up and showing them what the experience is made of and what he can make of this course. As he lines up for toss-up, now it's interesting to see if he will go for the links here as part of the time save. He's going to just make sure of it with that second backswing.
Very smooth so far. The minute 15 time limit really hasn't come into play for most of these athletes.
No, I think they're a bit above it. These
yeah.
elite athletes really don't struggle under this kind of time pressure. But sure, Alex, as we know that in the Challenger course, these athletes will be struggling, as we have seen with other divisions.
Certainly true. Well, Jonathan is out of there, up the warped wall. Only has to do the 12-footer, and he
An
finishes
incredible time.
a very strong time, 43 seconds.
Yeah, just all around there was probably a few key time saves there, but Jonathan can be really happy with that run. Sometimes it does really help to go last in the run order, but even just being further placed back is good. So it's good that he secured the completion, and now we're on to Silas Snyder.
Silas joining us all the way from Rebel Ninja in Canada. I believe our first Canadian athlete in the elite division. He'll have some company in the international side with Yuri Prokudin running in a little bit, but he also finished second in the pro division of the Canadian Ninja League finals, which got him to the World Championship.
Yeah, an incredible effort, and we are seeing that Silas means business as he lines up for the flywheel, not taking any breaks or any second backswings here, securing a top time.
I think that's a sub 30. It is, just barely, 29 and a half.
That's what we like to see, Alex. We like to see our ninjas really pushing the time here and pushing it down. And with so many elites to go, they're really going to be watching that run by Silas and going, okay, now I know what I got to do. I got to get that sub 30.
Silas showing that the Canadian Ninja League, our friends up in Canada, have a lot cooking. As we head to a Midwest athlete and a gentleman I'm very familiar with, Eric Wolschelach from Cleveland.
This guy has a plethora of experience. He's a 5-time World Championship finalist, so he knows how to perform on the course. As we can see him lining up the links here on toss-up, and now coming into ring slider. Not too difficult or technical of an obstacle, it's just a nice one to keep the momentum going as we go into dropping boxes.
Beat stage 1 a year ago. Usually when he competes, he gets about to the end of stage 1. Very
now,
strong
you can see he
athlete.
took a second backswing, unlike Silas, and this could cost him in the time. Definitely probably not going to be as fast as Silas, but still a very strong run regardless.
Should be faster than Jonathan. It is 39 seconds.
These elites are really pushing the time despite having such a difficult course and such a difficult placement run. But yeah.
All right, here's the gentleman I'm very excited for, Yuri Prokudin, spending some time in the States. He didn't compete at Worlds this year. He did compete at Worlds last year where he made it to Stage 2, and also competed last year at the Gauntlet Pro Obstacle Challenge where he finished in 2nd overall. This is an outstanding young man. He is very talented. As you can see, he's flying through this course.
Yeah, he's incredibly dominant in his movement, and just the way that you can just tell that he has so much experience and he's such a good athlete just by the way he moves, Alex. This is a flawless, clean run, and we are looking at hopefully another sub 30 here.
This should be the new fastest time. It is 28.6. Never even made it up the wall all the way, just lunged for the buzzer with his hand.
Yeah, all round, that was such a flawless run. I can't fault what he just did there. Everything was to a T, it was efficient, it was clean, and he secured a time that is going to be very difficult to beat here.
We'll see if Isaac Sullivan is up to the task. Isaac's coming out of Warrior Factory Buffalo. He was 4th place in points in the Midwest this past season. Also made it to Stage 2 at Worlds, and what on earth just happened?
An unexpected slip-up here on ring toss.
He went in too hot and just never got the height. And so Isaac Sullivan's now looking like he's potentially going to have to run first.
Yep, he probably will be first in our lineup here today unless someone else makes a mistake like that. But yeah, he's going to have to prove himself in the back end.
Sama Acha out of USA Ninja Challenge, going to be running in a mask. I hope he's feeling okay. Reminds me of Oliver Lutman back at the 2021 World Championships, the first one since COVID broke out. He cleared all 3 stages while wearing a mask, won the World Championship, so it's doable.
That's incredible. Must have been hiding something in the mask. Well, Sama is moving through very quickly, now coming into flywheel, taking that second backswing, which is going to cost him in time, but at least he can secure it here.
Yeah, very smooth. This should still be a sub 40. I think he lost a little bit of time climbing the wall. No, he didn't. 39.
Again, a really solid run here, and I think what we're starting to see from the elites that you don't quite get in all other divisions is just the consistency of the athletes. They just all perform, they all come in. And Alex, I think I'll let you introduce this, because this looks like a familiar face to us.
Enzo D. Ferrari Wilson, if you've been watching throughout the weekend, we've been highlighting his Ocean Needs Everyone conservation project. A very talented young man at Ninja as well.
Yeah, a 4-time WNL World finalist, 2nd place in the North Central Elite male standings. So this man has an incredible resume, and he's backing up.
Oh my gosh, look at how fast he's going.
This might be the fastest time we've seen so far, Alex. This is incredible.
He didn't compete much this past season, and we are seeing what we missed.
He saved all his
lunges for the buzzer. 29.6. Somehow that's not in first place. And I'm hard-pressed to find where he lost time.
It must have been in the initial stages, because it's clear that when it comes to his running and his speed around the course, that he hits some insane pace there. But that, regardless, sub 30, it's going to place him really well coming into the Challenger course after this.
And that brings us to Leo Riveron. Coming out of Ultimate Ninjas. They have a number of facilities up in the Chicago area. Recently just opened one in Indianapolis. And Leo is representing them well so far!
No!
I spoke too soon.
Alex, we are seeing too many upsets at the moment.
Now, the clock is still running.
And Leo is still running. I wonder what's going to happen there. And if
I assume that will be reviewed. So provisionally still going through.
Well, in the meantime, this would have been a great run by Leo if it hadn't been for that slip up. We will see what happens there in terms of the regulations and what they decide on. It's hard to tell if Leo has realized. I'm pretty sure he would know, but we'll see.
Well, this is the angle. Yeah, pretty clearly he stepped down there. I think that's one's going to be coming back. I assume they
Yeah.
let it go just to review to make sure he bore weight on it.
Well, it looks like Leo Riveron is going to be running first, unless one of our last two competitors makes one of those small mistakes.
And the first of those two is Brooks Bieber. Made it to stage 3 a year ago, out on stage 2 last year, but still an incredibly strong athlete.
Yeah, we can see that he's moving through. As we get into the back end of these Elite Division competitors, they don't stop. They don't have a slowdown button. They just go, go, go. And you can see he's trying to line it up.
Oh! And that is the risk
Alex,
of
he
hitting
took
the
the
gas
risk.
pedal. He never got a good swing on the trapeze and didn't reach the flywheel.
It's a risk that he took. He knew he didn't have enough momentum, but he wanted to save that time. And it's going to cost him, and he's going to be early on in our placement courses.
This hasn't been a huge field, but it's been such a strong field. The athletes feel like they need to take risks, and so we've seen a number of athletes fall earlier than they probably should. And now Tom Alberti will be our final runner. He cleared the challenge course last week, but missed out on qualifying by only 8 seconds. And that has caused him to come all the way down to South Carolina today for a second shot.
Yeah, Tom Alberti has an insane resume, being a 2-time World Champion Stage 3 finalist. So this man knows how to compete. He is eager to get one of those top 4 spots coming into this placement course with one of the fastest times we've seen so far.
He won full swing 2 years ago. He knows Lachey's, and he knows speed. He lunges for the buzzer to get the fastest time. I think he might have 28.36. We're going to have to check.
Alex, that was all around just a clean run, and it was deceptively fast, I would say, and that just is a tribute to how clean he made that run. The perfect momentum on flywheel, coming into the wall wall, no troubles, straight up and to the buzzer. What an incredible time, and what an incredible set of runs from all of the competitors so far in this Elite Division.
And indeed, that was the fastest time. Tom Alberti, by a quarter of a second, will be running last over Yuri Prokudin. That is going to be an insane battle to watch. And down the ballot, just a little bit behind is Silas Snyder and Enzo Di Ferrari Wilson. And then that canyon we've been talking about, Eric Woljabach, about 10 seconds behind Enzo in 5th.
Yeah, and I think it's worth... I would love you to speak to Alex how big of a difference the placements made in the teen division and what we saw in a similar light.
Sure thing. So there were 3 runners in the teen female division. It was the same order, 1st through 3rd, in both the placement course and the challenge course. We saw the top 8 in elite female last week in the same order for placement course and challenge course. The top 4 for elite, for teen male were the same order for the teen, or this week in the placement course and the challenge course. 2nd through 5th in the amateur male qualified in the challenge course. It is so important to be running last. And so for a really strong athlete like Brooks Bieber, who took that insane risk and it didn't pay off, that very well, even though the placement course doesn't quote-unquote count, it really does count. And Brooks Bieber has really put himself behind the 8 ball for trying to qualify.
Well, yeah, you can see he had a time of 16 seconds coming into flywheel, so it could have been an exceptional run. But yeah, unfortunately didn't execute there. And it's going to be really interesting to see if the elites towards the early, who are going to be starting first, can kind of pull themselves out. Of course, we're going to see Leo Riveron stepping up first.
Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, that clear did come off the board. As we take a look at the challenge course format, you get 2 retries on the course. You can use them anywhere on the course. However, you can't use both retries on the same obstacle. Absolutely. It is going to be a longer course. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jack.
I was just going to say, it's worth noting that although our athletes have used these retries, it's not too big of a deal when they do fall. Like, a lot of the athletes that have secured completions and have even gone on to kind of secure those top 4 spots have used their retries, and they've proved invaluable in this challenge course, which is incredibly difficult.
The one thing it allows you to do is it allows you to be really aggressive, go for bigger moves that you might not go for if you don't have those retries in your back pocket.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's worth noting that the challenge course has proven to us that most athletes haven't actually finished it. We have not had too many finishes this weekend, which has been surprising to, I think, all of us. So it'll be interesting to see how the elites fare up against a course that is arguably going to be the hardest course by a long shot.
There have only been three finishers today. Colt Elder and Leo Castro in the teen male division, and Henry Katrick in the amateur male division. How many elite males are going to join them?
The golden rule for us has been that if you can get a completion here, you are in really good stead to finish on the top spot and definitely finish in that top 4. But we've seen with the elite divisions that sometimes they really push the course and push the time down. So who knows what's going to happen in the next 20, 30 minutes.
Very true. Let's take a replay of Lila Nafison's run. Lila finished in first place in the elite female. She only needed to beat a 105 and beat that by quite a bit. So take one more look.
Yeah, she absolutely dominated in the elite females here, choosing to link, which was a clear time save compared to her competitors. And just overall an exceptional run.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many women link really much of anything. And yeah, she had a little bit of a stumble going to the work wall. We haven't seen too many links out of our female competitors really in both weeks, but Lila was very aggressive and it paid off with the first place run. Now we take a look at Savannah Helms, who will be running first in the placement course. However, did get a buzzer.
Savannah did get a buzzer, and both our females have been incredibly consistent this weekend. So it'll be interesting. You know, I can see Savannah stepping up to the plate first and still doing an incredible run. And we've seen it before, Alex, so only time will tell.
Certainly true. Well, over on the men's side, Tom Alberti missed out on qualifying by 8 seconds a weekend to go and is leaving nothing on the table this weekend.
Yeah, I think he's back with a vengeance. He wants to win. He wants to get that top 4 spot, get into that Premier Series finals like he believes he deserves. And yeah, just setting such a fabulous run, an impeccable run, and really just one that was flawless in general.
Very true. An athlete that has some experience on the gauntlet course, as does second place Yuri Prokudin. So 2 athletes that are very well known for their speed. We're going to see their endurance tested in the challenge course. But in the meantime, if this is your first time seeing Yuri Prokudin, I hope you're as impressed as we are.
Yeah, Yuri set one of the most dominant runs I have seen in a while. It was the perfect execution of technique. And I know that although he missed out on that top spot in the placement runs, in the challenge course, he's going to be going all out. He's going for that top spot.
He certainly is. Well, joining Yuri in our international field this week is Silas Snyder, coming up from Canada. We're definitely going to see a lot more Canadian athletes run throughout this series, coming down to, well, I figured Ferox, but we have an athlete coming down to Motive in South Carolina. Quite a bit of a drive, or perhaps a fly. I mean, he flew through this course, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, you have to commend the athletes that make such the significant trip out to compete and to take those top 4 spots. So you know Silas, he means business, and I think with the top 4 athletes, they had such dominant performances, and you can just see there from the times, and they're all so close within each other, just within a second's reach. So between all 4 of them, it's hard to tell who is actually going to take out that top spot.
We're very proud of our partnership with the Canadian Ninja League, continuing into this season where I think their finals are going to be in October. The top qualifiers from the Canadian Ninja League finals qualify for the World Championship, and we're very proud to continue that partnership, getting the very growing Canadian ninja scene involved in some of these bigger competitions. And let's take a look at Enzo Di Ferrari Wilson's run in 4th place. He was flying between obstacles, and it's kind of impressive that somehow he managed to only get 4th.
Yeah, we've seen Enzo all day through the videos that we've been playing, through his incredible work in the community, and now just seeing him execute on a great run is a perfect combination for his day.
Well, speaking of Enzo, we're going to take a quick break while the athletes go over the rules for the challenge course. I just got to ask, whose shirt was better, Enzo's or Jay's?
That's a tough call.
Ooh.
We've seen them both on both weeks, both having dominant runs. I think I would have to give it to Enzo.
That's tough. I'm gonna think about it during the break, but let us know in the chat whose fashion statement you like more. But in any event, speaking of Enzo Di Ferrari Wilson, we're gonna send it to this message from Ocean Needs Everyone.
Ocean Needs Everyone is celebrating 5 years of saving the oceans. My name's Enzo, and through Ocean Needs Everyone, I help save the ocean by doing beach cleanups, seal and mangrove plantings, making art about recycled plastic, and making films regarding the ocean's health. How can you help save the oceans at home? Well, even if you don't live near an ocean, trash can end up in there eventually, so cut down on your use of single-use plastics. If you see trash on the roads or beaches, make sure to pick it up. Use less gas-powered vehicles, fish responsibly, and help support local organizations. I started my organization when I was 12 years old because I wanted to make a difference. So remember, you're never too young to follow your dreams and make a change. Let's all save our oceans together, one piece of trash at a time.
Easy, mate.
this forces you to retry an obstacle if you fail. So how that's going to look? You fail an obstacle, Brett's going to hit the fail button, and that will pause the time that it takes to reset the obstacle. But as soon as it resets, it's going to start button again. It's going to do a countdown. And then you're going to be able to continue on. Do not restart the obstacle until you get that force speed. Again, I'm not going to wait for you to get ready. Alright? If you feel well and retry it and get it, you can move on, and then you can get one more retry on the whole course. So 2 retries for the whole course and only 1 retry per obstacle. Any questions about how that works with the retry? Alright. To get to your start cut this time, you're going to go to the hardware area, behind the training wall, and check in back there, and then tell you where to go to start cut. So let's head over to the start obstacle. Yep, and you have one certified coach on the floor with you. If you'd like to. The first obstacle is the shrinking step. This is a hand-and obstacle. You can use your feet on the blue and yellow step. You can use your hands on the twin arrow pole. Not the wood at the bottom or the hardware at the top, just the silver pole to get to your finish platform at the end. Let's see a demo. Nice. Any questions about the shrinking step? Alright, cool. So, stay on the platform, which is great. This is a shared platform. So make sure you don't go down the carpet. Go straight to the obstacle. This is the only obstacle. You can use the wooden box, the springboard, and the spinning box to get to the finish platform at the end. Any questions about that one's ability? Alright. Alright, so this one is set up for the ladies for a demo. It's going to be the same rules for the men, but it's going to be just a little bit of a bigger space. Alright? So hands on the obstacle. You can use the black bar right above here, and any of the yellow holes to get to your finish platform at the end. Questions about the script? Can the guys here you think that a little bit further? Alright, this next obstacle is going to be a different obstacle for the men and the women, okay? So I'm just going to talk to you about the women's obstacle, and then we're going to do the men's obstacle after that. Just go like this obstacle. For the ladies, y'all are going to use the center back, and you toss up the other way. You're allowed to use anything or just a handle. Alright, so ladies, you can just use the yellow holes on the outside of the toss up, as well as the handle. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Did you hear what you're allowed to use? That's okay. It's just y'all two girls. This whole thing is just for the girls, okay? You can use the yellow holes and the handle on each one, okay? So not the special delivery. Just the yellow alcohol and the handle and the keyboard. once we do that, we're gonna look at after we get the rest of the work law. Okay? So moving on to the jump sliders now.
Here, throw, dismount.
Alright, guys, we're gonna see a demonstration on the box first, and then you're gonna roll for it.
Okay, I'll just wrap it up on top. Yeah.
Grace wants me to do this for you. You move it down.
Yeah, we can move this to help. Slide this down till the top.
Bar to the top right.
Yeah.
Alright, awesome.
Crank it
So
down.
then we'll do jump spider. This is our platform.
Pretty good.
Hold your feet on the wooden box.
This flat.
You're not allowed off of the wooden box. It's
It's
not
good like this, just straight down.
on the two ropes, and you can use hands and feet on each part of the jump spider wall, including the first part, including the black bottom. Alright, any questions about that one?
I just don't know which way the wrench goes. You know?
We're going on to the next one. Side the wall.
Yep.
Alright, guys, so, we're going to go to the men's version of this first. For the men, you're allowed to touch these handles, the parts of these handles with your hands. Also allowed to touch these yellow parts. Okay? With your feet, you can touch the yellow bar and the blue box. Okay, you can touch hands on the yellow bar as well. So again, once you reach the yellow, you'll have to touch that with your hands, look at that, and then Alright, cool. Great. Alright, we're going to see the women's version of this next for the ladies. Alright, so for the ladies, you're allowed to touch the blue handle. You can touch the yellow bar with hands and feet. And you can touch this black board on the top and the side. You also can use your feet on any. So feet on the blue on this side. Use your feet on anything on this side. Okay, let's do that by that other side. So handles on that side, but we're going to use that line. Nice. All right. Awesome. Any questions on that one? very similar. The cane is going to be in just a little bit of a different position, so all the same rules apply.
This is a handmade obstacle. You can use your feet on the trampoline. Then you can also use your hands on the UFO and the cane to get to your finish platform. He's on your start platform. Let's do it. Then the cane is in the position here. And then the cane is going to be a little bit further in the ring. And it will be also backwards. Yeah, so after we go, we'll do those two guys. So guys, just make sure you're not touching your hardware. If you're touching it, all that will be allowed. All right. Let's go to the next one. Again, we'll demo the guys who do this before the guys are done. All right, next obstacle is the deja vu. All right, another one where we're just going to the latest version. Once we get the changeover commitment, we're going to do the commitment. It's going to be different. So, ladies, this is for you. Listen up. You can just use the silver spinning bar and the two rings to get to your finish platform. We're going to do those with girls. There's rings on anything you want, or you can do the obstacle any way you want to, as long as you only touch what you're allowed to touch. All right, so then after we change over some things with what's going on, we're going to do the obstacle 100 as well as this one. Oh, for the girls. If y'all want, you're also allowed to use your card to log on that block. All right, let's see the wall, and then we'll go back to that wall version. What? All right, fellas, plug your ears. This is not for you. Ladies, your final obstacle is a wood wall. You need to get up to the 14-foot wood wall. You can use the ring and strap it connected to get to the top. You may not use a 12-foot wood wall. If you have capacity with hands or feet, go up over, touch the buzzer, stop the top. Guys, this is kind of a different obstacle for you. We're going to demo all of those when we try to get back to it. But now, the guys are going to see the obstacle. Or if you want to see the obstacle, you can. Alright, y'all, this one is a monkey hop. So just a reminder, you're going to be coming off the switch obstacle. The girls are on that one above you, but the guys are going right through it. Okay, so it's the one before the jumping spider around to the switch there. The monkey hop. One thing you're allowed to touch are these black needle bars. You're going to get from this platform to that platform over there.
I love it.
Okay. The dude. The dude himself. The dude. Doing dude things. You got this. Switch that in. Who's up? Who's up? So, the question is, it's really, yeah. So, Brent, one, second attempt.
Yeah, watch your face. If you miss, I don't know. You can make it great.
Side note, Brett has 2 spots that are breakfast.
Should be hype.
Welcome back to Greenville, South Carolina. Now, if you're just tuning in, that is not an obstacle that's been in any other division. So it looks like we're going to see a brand new obstacle here that we have not yet seen.
That is so exciting. Anytime we get to see new obstacles is always an incredible opportunity. And I think, yeah, it's going to be difficult 100% if it's coming in for the elites only.
Well, in any event, it is going to be an exciting elite competition.
Yeah, no, we had an incredible placement rounds and everyone had such incredible runs. But now we get into the pointy end of the business. We saw some very dominant competitors in and as a result of those placement runs. But now as we get into the challenge course, Alex, this is where we get into the business end of things.
Certainly true. This is what will determine the top 4 that move on to the Premier Series finals in Brooklyn. It is ultimately what decides the placement order for the competition. The placement course decides the run order for the challenge course. And as we've seen so far, it is very critical that you run this challenge course later because that means you know exactly what you need to do.
Absolutely. I mean, the run order in which the competitors have run have almost always resulted in the end placements. However, I would argue that with the elites division, anyone is more than capable of taking out that top spot just because of the nature of how these athletes operate. They're able to pull off some insane moments in key runs. It's also worth noting that in the challenge course, they will get 2 retries, max of 1 per obstacle. And that has been critical for many ninjas in completing their runs and making it into those top 4 qualifying spots.
These are the toughest courses that they're going to face in the World Ninja League, and so it helps a lot that if it's something radically new, that they can take a more aggressive approach or they can try to feel it out, and that really opens the door a lot in terms of course design.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting now that we've seen that new obstacle being added in. What I'm most excited about is I have no idea what the rest of the course is going to look like and what other adaptations they have made. Because it goes without saying that when it comes to the elites, we really try to push them and we design the courses to be incredibly difficult and just at that next level to see what they're made of.
Now, that said, we're not entirely sure what the time limit is going to be because the other divisions have been running right up against the time limit. They're going to want to save those retries for some of these later obstacles. Obstacles like the cane slider, where we saw so many go down earlier today in both the amateurs and teens. The deja vu, which, could really throw competitors in knots, and I'm sure they've made it more difficult for the elites. And that new last obstacle that I have just been told the testers failed 2 or 3 times until the madman himself, Brett Sims, had to go beat his own obstacle. What a legend.
That is gonna, 2 to 3 tries for the testers. That's always concerning because they're some of the best ninjas just going up against the obstacle with no pressure and no need to complete the whole rest of the course. So yeah, I think as elites, it is expected that they make it as far as possible without using their retries. And if they need them, save them for those difficult obstacles. But I'm excited. They've saved the best for last.
Certainly true. And the elite division is chock full of talent. Although we only have 2 women in this division, they're both incredibly talented, Lila Nathanson and Savannah Helms, both of whom finished very well at the World Championship, made it deep into Stage 1. And so they're not auto-qualified. They do have to beat the 3rd obstacle, and we've seen in both the amateur and teen divisions that beating 3 obstacles on this course is not necessarily a given.
That is correct, Alex. I mean, we've seen a a few upsets on that third obstacle specifically. It's hard to say how they've adapted it for the elite division, but if there's anything that we know, they make that third obstacle deliberately difficult so that competitors have to earn that place. And even the best of the best come unstuck there. It's very clear from the results that we've seen so far that Lila set the most dominant run we have seen in the female division so far. So Savannah Helms, we're just seeing the run now. An incredible run all round.
Yeah, the bar
Yeah, it
definitely set high by Lila during this placement course. Savannah has her work cut out for her, but Savannah also hitting that buzzer. So
Yeah, it is worth slow and steady sometimes can win the race. If Savannah comes out strong and really has an incredible run to start with, that might pressure Lila into kind of getting nervous and perhaps not having the run that she looks. The one thing's worth noting is Savannah did look a little bit tired and gassed at the end of this run, as compared to Lila, who looked quite calm at the end of it. So it's just worth noting it might be a test of her endurance as we come into the more difficult challenge course.
very true, although she will get a little bit more time to breathe rather than full sprinting through the entire course, this being a longer course, and of course with the clock pausing anytime the athletes have to use one of their retries.
That is very, very true, Alex. Well, I'm keen to see this matchup. I hope that both of them make it past Obstacle 3 so that we can make sure that they make their way into the Premier Series finals. And then, of course, in the Elite Male division, we are looking at an incredibly stacked lineup, especially for the first 4 competitors.
Yeah, they have been head and shoulders above the rest, but I actually want to focus a little bit on Brooks Bieber, a young man who finished in the top 4 in the World Championship in 2022, went out on stage 2 this past year, and then had a shocking dismissal on the flywheel, the next to last obstacle, which means that he's going to have to run pretty early. And I take that back. We are going right into the action. Savannah Helms is our first runner.
Savannah will be showing us and showcasing what this elite course is going to look like. We are all yet to see it, and she will be the first one running this course, having a little bit of a stumble there. Now, this is the third obstacle, and if she wants to qualify for the Premier Series finals, she must complete this obstacle here, and it has taken out more competitors than we care to admit. It's been a killer.
It's the switch grips, and yeah, you can see there, she grabbed a little too early with her front hand, never got her backhand fully on. They have to do 3 of these 180 moves.
Yeah, and with such a small space to work with, the pop and the transition can prove to be very difficult. But Savannah hopefully going to learn from her first mistake as she lines up again for this first switch.
Okay, gets the
She
first.
gets it.
That
Now
part's
we'll do another
done.
switch.
Second one, no, Savannah! Unfortunate, and you can tell that she's disappointed, as she should be. And the door is open for Lila Nathanson.
The door is open, but unfortunately that will conclude Savannah's run and her journey towards making it to the Premier Series finals, as showing once again the difficulty of this course, as Lila Nathanson, now the most dominant female elite division competitor, steps up to the plate looking to hopefully go further, secure a spot in the finals, and maybe we will see a course completion here.
Finished 6th in the World Championship. Very impressive, as for the first time we had 3 women hit the buzzer on stage 1 in the elite division, so Lila was right behind them.
Just got the first switch up. This is looking good. Got the second. This is looking very strong.
There you go.
Yes.
And Lila Nathanson's going to pick up the win, moving on to the finals as well. But so much more at stake here.
Yeah, the job is not done as she gears up. Those grips in the teens division were even smaller, and it looks like they've adjusted them, being a bit kinder to our elite division ninjas.
At least for the female division. We'll see if they get even harder.
Yes, I guess we will. Lila now coming into the jumping spider. We are now getting to see the back end of this course for the first time for the elite division, and it is brutal, Alex.
Yeah, Lila opting to use the spider walls there. A lot of ninjas have been using that when they need to.
Now we are going into Spinal Tap. This is just a pure arm burner. That's basically what it's designed to do. It's not necessarily the most technical obstacle, but it definitely gasses you out as you come into the other obstacles in this run. And how quickly you get through it is key to how gassed you will be.
Yeah, Lila is going to be the first and only woman all weekend to have to use the handles here on Spinal Tap. Although
Very
I
true. and that
believe
is
if I heard
part
correctly,
of-
she's able to use the blackboard on her way down.
We've seen different competitors use different strategies here, and it looks like Lila's going to be using both handles as she makes her way down the Spinal Tap.
Yeah, she's
I
good. She's
believe
good.
that's all good.
Yes.
Okay, now we're getting into the pointy end. This is a devastator, Alex. This one ruins dreams.
She took a sip of a drink there. Interesting. You don't see that very often.
Now coming into cane slider. For those who haven't seen this obstacle, Lila has to grab the hook and transition into that hoop mid-air.
Oh, and she almost
just
had
misses it. She's gonna get one more go here. This is gonna be her second and final attempt on cane slider. This has been a very difficult obstacle for our ninjas.
Another
Take
sip
another
of the
sip
drink.
of the water.
We'll have to ask her what's in that canister, if it's water or maybe an energy drink, some Gatorade. All right, let's see if it worked. Oh, it did!
Yes.
And Lila Nathanson beats the cane slider. This is the best run we've seen out of a woman today. And now has the
Alex, there is
opportunity to try to hit a buzzer.
Now we are coming into Deja Vu, which is arguably one of the most difficult obstacles here. You have to, if things haven't changed, she will have to grab the ring above her, and I believe she's trying to pivot over the bar.
Yeah, she's trying to do that rollover, now opting to do a leg hook. Okay, all legal. 20 seconds left.
The time is running down. I don't know if this will be enough to get a finish, but she can try and move towards getting this obstacle finished.
Having trouble reaching the back of that hook to try to make the sky hook move. And unable to reach it. By letter of the law, she has a retry, but with only 2 seconds left, she's going to tap out after a tremendous run that will get her first place by 5 obstacles. Last week, we saw Madeline Medeiros with a huge statement run arriving on the scene, and I think Lila Nathanson has matched that feat.
Yeah, Lila has proven that in the Premier Series final, she's going to be one to watch as she gears up to compete against the best 32 ninjas across the world in that final series. And that overall, I think Lila just dominated that division, to be truthful. It was all around such a clean run on both ends. She dominated the placement runs, and now in the Challenger course, going further than so many ninjas we have seen today. Lila Nathanson, what an incredible run.
Certainly true. Lila will join the 4 athletes that qualified a week ago at Ferox. And those athletes, just to remind everybody, were Madeline Medeiros, Abby Clark, Avery Glantz, and Melia Oxner. So already we're building up quite the lineup in the elite female division as we pivot over to the elite. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, that finals will be scary once we get down to the top 32. That is already way too stacked.
It's certainly true, and I want to pivot now over to the elite male division. We didn't get a chance to watch Brooks Bieber's run because I pointed him out as an athlete that could sneak into that top 4, something we haven't seen a lot of athletes do today. In fact, I don't think we've seen any athletes do today has come from that far back in the run order to try to qualify. So we take one more look. He had a lot of urgency, and I mean, he has a fantastic resume just to slip up here, and who knows how much that's going to cost him.
Yeah, I think he's learned from his mistakes. He might take a little bit more time going into this challenge course. And from what we've heard, if the last obstacle is as difficult as they say it is, Alex, they're all going to be thinking, okay, I need to take my time. I need to make sure that I finish that last obstacle, and that will put me in good stead for taking out that top spot. I think what might also be really interesting to look at is kind of our 5th and 6th place competitors who didn't quite get the same times as our top 4 dominant competitors, but it would be interesting to kind of understand what those gaps were. My guess is that they may have taken a few extra back swings, and that could have cost them in the long run.
Yeah, I recall that Eric, I believe, didn't link toss-up. I know Sama didn't. And here is Eric's run. Okay, I guess he did link toss-up. I was mistaken. Yeah, he took a couple extra swings here on flywheel, and I think that was what cost him.
Yeah, and we're only talking 10 seconds, but it adds up when you begin to take these extra backswings and maybe not exhibit that same level of confidence that those top ninjas. Because, yeah, that 10-second time gap, it is quite significant, but Eric is still going to be well placed and hopefully will set a really dominant run coming into the challenge course.
Yeah, certainly he will have a lot of pressure on his shoulders as he will run right before those top four as we take a look at Sama Acha's run.
Yeah, we can see all round that these elite athletes have been very consistent in their runs. And looking at the standings, one of the runners that would be really interesting to look at is Leo Riveron, who I believe had a small slip up there, but was still an incredibly accomplished and distinguished competitor that I believe still could put out a very good first run.
Yeah, he got called out right here as he was trying to link the dismount, got called down for that foot tap.
Yeah, and that definitely would have knocked the rest of his run, knocked the confidence a lot, and yeah, just all around, it's just unfortunate. But reading his resume and seeing the things that he's already accomplished in the world of ninja, it gives me confidence that he can come back and really put the pressure on these top competitors to do well.
Certainly true. Well, one athlete that I'm really excited to get a closer look at is Silas Snyder, an athlete that blew us away, but an athlete that I haven't gotten to see much of, given that just by the nature of our different nationalities. But he is an athlete that I am very glad is getting some exposure here on the big scene.
Yeah, this was a standout run amongst all of the ninjas. Just really good flow, really good consistency, and it's a nice to watch run, one where you don't have to worry. It's just very flawless in its nature. And I'm what I'm most excited about, Alex, is just when you look at this lineup, there are so many strong competitors in the elite division that it's so hard to pick who is actually going to come out on top here.
That's definitely true. And even a guy like Isaac Sullivan, I'm mentioning him because I'm very familiar with him from the Midwest circuit. Even a guy like Isaac Sullivan could sneak in, this being a very difficult grip gauntlet. Yeah, he had a really unfortunate slip up on the ring slider. He just came in too hot to an obstacle. And, he could definitely sneak in there and outgrip some of these other competitors.
That is definitely worth noting, and I'm sure that in this little break that we have, they're making potentially specific changes that benefit those who have a great grip.
Right.
The placement course favors speed, but the challenge course favors those with endurance. And you can just see that, yeah, it's just so unfortunate.
I think he just...
one of the only competitors that we've seen come out on ring slider. It's not the place that a ninja wants to come out.
I think he just went in a little bit too hot. Isaac made it deep into stage 2 this season, so there's definitely a lot of strength even among the competitors who didn't clear.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the elites, is that they're all able to really reframe their minds, come into it strong no matter where they're placed, and try and set a run that is going to get them that first place finish, or even into the top 4 at least. Yeah, I think in general, my prediction is that we're going to see a bunch of people get to that final obstacle, and perhaps that be the determining point, and that'll come down to endurance and who wants it the most.
I certainly hope we'll get to see several attempts on it, and one young man who knows whether or not he'll have to beat that obstacle is Tom Alberti. He was our last runner in the placement course, parlayed it into being the last runner of the challenge course, and so far, if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't failed a single obstacle in the Premier Series, having just, yeah, he was the second fastest time a week ago in the placement course. This week, edging out the rest of the field. And a week ago, having beaten the entire course, but just missing out on that top 4 by only 8 seconds.
That's scary to think about if you're going up against him, to know that he hasn't fallen yet. He's consistent. And last week was an incredibly difficult course. So I wouldn't want to be going up against him, Alex.
Certainly true. We had about a 50-50 clear rate last week. Actually, a little bit more than that. We're not going to see anything in that ballpark this week. This is a brutal grip gauntlet. Although we said that about the course last week, and the elite males smoked it, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, no, they definitely upgraded it for the elites.
Yeah,
and they still crushed it. Just no matter what you throw at these ninjas, they find a way through it. And Alex, we can just see over the coming 6 weeks what we can expect from our audience. I want to give a quick shout out to all the Australian viewers and all the people who haven't quite seen the competitive scene around Australia. It is one to watch. There are some outstanding ninjas that will be competing in Perth, Australia next week at the Ninja Academy. We spoke earlier about how Dave Ravi is known for not wanting ninjas to complete the course, and he will throw everything at these ninjas, and he will be building. I promise you, he'll be building some obstacles that we have never seen before.
I cannot wait for that. And a week later, August 19th and 20th, down in Cedar Park, Texas, we have Austin Ninjas. Going to see a lot of the South Central's best. I've heard murmurings that we're going to see some of the Heartland's best as well. The Central United States has a really good chance to pop off both at Austin Ninjas and after our metaphorical all-star break at Modus Ninjas the first weekend of September.
Yeah, no, I think we're going to continue to see some really dominant lineups from the US, but also I think the surprise to everyone and those that aren't aware of the ninja scene in Israel, we're going to see some of the most dominant competitors I think we've ever seen, Alex, if we're lucky.
Yeah, we have seen some of the very best ninjas in the world come out of Israel. We got a glimpse at Gil Morantz a week ago, who just wasn't able to complete a kaleidoscope move, but otherwise was looking very strong. Gil's actually going to be designing that course, I've been told. And so there are going to be a lot of very strong Israeli ninjas that the audience here in America and throughout the world is going to get to see for the first time here in Premier Series. And they are so strong, and their ninja scene is growing leaps and bounds.
Yeah, the statistic that I've heard from Alex and the statistic that I love is the special show over there that has an alignment with the work that we do, is their highest rated show in Israel, with the news being the most highest rated, it blows my mind to know that they take the sport that seriously and that they engage with it at that level.
And it's a lot of fun to watch those Israeli ninjas, but it's also very fun to watch some of Europe's best. They're going to be competing at True Function in Swindon.
Absolutely. The UK has always had a strong ninja scene, and the athletes are all experienced. They all have their own unique strengths, and I'm sure that now that they know that they can come to compete in the US in perhaps one of the most prestigious and competitive ninja events we've had, they're going to be wanting to vie for those top 4 spots.
And I imagine we're going to see a lot of other European ninjas compete there as well. If you were at the World Championships back in June, we had a huge French contingent. And so I imagine a number of them are going to want to make the trip over to True Function and make it a true European championship.
Yeah, I remember coming to the 2022 World Championships and just seeing the France team everywhere. They were all in colors. They were representing their country. They were dominant throughout, seeing a lot of them make it to stage 2 of the elite division. So I would be scared if I was a US competitor knowing that there's some European competitors that'll be in the lineup.
And you were there last year. This year, the French team is about 2 to 3 times as large. So we are for sure going to see some international athletes make the trip over to the UK.
Yeah, it's just amazing to see how many countries, I guess, beyond the US take Ninja Warrior very seriously and really give it their all, just as so many people in the US do. There's the Ninja Warrior has always been associated with the US, but it's incredible to see that through this Premier Series we can highlight the best athletes from across the world and bring them all together to compete against each other.
And we will see similar levels of international competition, as I do have some inside information that we have a number of Canadian ninja athletes signing up for Life Force Ninja in Bellingham, Washington. That's in the Seattle area, and it is very close to the border. So they get Canadian athletes coming over all the time for their competitions. And so it's going to be a real US versus Canada battle.
Yeah, and I noticed that one of our most dominant competitors today, Silas Snyder, came second place in the Canadian Ninja League finals. So it's proof in the pudding that there are some incredible Canadian competitors that are gonna be joining us in the finals.
That competition is going to have a really fun course as well. Jay and Becca up at Life Force won our award this season for best course design, and they have come up with some really inventive ideas over the years. I think they had like some kind of jumping spider ring chaser block tackle Frankenstein combination a couple years ago. It was awesome. They are inventive down there in Seattle, or I guess up there in Seattle. What am I saying? But they're cooking. They're cooking something up there.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of ninja. You know, every country has its own unique style in terms of what its ninjas love to focus on. And I think what we're going to see is gym owners and the individuals and the gyms that we're going to be going to. We're going to see some obstacles that we've never seen before, and never seen before on U.S. soil. So it'll be incredibly interesting to see what these gyms have to offer. I just know from my experience in Australia, the obstacles that we use are completely different. So for audiences that have never kind of watched the Australian or the Israeli or UK and European scene, I think we'll see some new obstacles, Alex, for the ninjas to experiment with.
Yeah, and I think also we might see some throwback obstacles, not necessarily the obstacle named throwback, but some obstacles that maybe the ninjas haven't seen in a while. I was talking to Donovan Matoyer at Modus, and him and I are obviously longtime fans of a particular Japanese game show that may or may not have had influences on our sport. And I think we might see some homages. I'm trying to get the pronunciation correctly, but I don't want to promise anything. But I've heard some murmurings that we're going to have some interesting stuff at Austin and Modus coming up here in a couple weeks.
I'm excited. I think I think this series just offers so much diversity in the ninja scene. And as we kind of gear up to go back into this elite male division, we can just see the standings one more time. Incredibly dominant top 4, but any of these ninjas are capable of taking out that top spot and securing a spot in the finals.
And I really want to see what this obstacle here is all about. We saw a little bit of it in the intro, as well as Brett attempting it right as we were coming back from our break. And I'm baffled as to what the objective is here, that it was so difficult that none of the testers were able to beat it. Although as you can see on the screen, we have some very high quality level athletes that have the capability of beating it if they get here and if they have the time.
Yeah, I'm scared for these athletes when they have to come up against this for the first time. Not only just never seeing it before or never touching it, but also when they're knackered from the rest of the course. So this is their final obstacle, and we're really making these elite ninjas work for it.
Certainly true. I love knackered getting thrown in there. True Aussie word there. I was kind of thinking I'm not going to finish that sentence, but there's Brett Sims is just such a madman. Like coming up with obstacles like the spinal tap. We've been talking about how it's kind of a combination of some of the more technical moves of ninja combined with like a bouldering problem where you have to go inverted. He loves taking obstacles and going into his lab and mixing them together and coming up with new things we've never seen.
I love how the obstacles are designed to deliver maximum pain and maximum failure rates. That's how I see some of these obstacles. We do have obstacles such as the spinal tap that are just designed to burn the forearms, and then following that with the cane slider, it's such a technical obstacle that you're already gassed out and from the entire run, and then they expect you to pull off some miracles. So I think now with this new obstacle that we don't even know how it works, we can only see and have a guess, and my mind just is racing but still doesn't understand how it works. I really think these ninjas are going to have their work cut out for them, and I think we're going to see some of the most entertaining runs we've seen all week.
We have Brett lining up, and we're taking a look. Indeed, it's going to be a reverse cane move. So we saw some athletes try that skip in the team division. None got it. They all went up to the nunchuck. There's no nunchuck there, friends. The elites are going to have to grab that cane and turn it in midair. A super technical move.
Yeah, and super tough. There's only so much momentum, as we've seen, that you can get on that disc slider. And it's hard to get that sideways movement. You can get a lot of vertical, but we'll see. The elites are good. They know their technical moves, so fingers crossed that they can make it way. And we're going to be seeing Deja Vu here. Perhaps an adjusted Deja Vu.
Yeah, I don't see any rings there, so I don't know what's going on here. That was David Fuderin who was looking to potentially demo that as we are wrapping up our adjustments here.
Yeah, they could be asking a lot of our ninjas. Knowing how they set these courses for the elites, they're probably going to make some adaptations for Deja Vu that'll just make it that more difficult.
As infuriating as moments like this are, this is some of my favorite part of ninja competitions, where we get to the really gnarly stuff, and then it's just everyone looking just baffled at what's going on.
Yeah, it was like last week with the elites. We looked at the course and we were just like, no, this is going to be insane. And yeah, the elites just, they match it with their skill. So hopefully, oh no, Alex.
What?
Oh
Excuse me?
no.
So I'm assuming what's happening here is this has become a bar hop obstacle where they're going to have to hop from that very small cradle across and then... Or are they going to have to shimmy around the bar first? Okay, so they're going to have to shimmy this bar... Oh dear.
Oh no. That
Yeah, so they're either going to
is-
have to do an insane underhook move or they're going to have to shimmy their way around the bar, kind of reminiscent of how the angle slider got cheesed back in Season 4, for those of you who remember that Stage 2. Been hard for...
That is, oh my, if I was being in a, like, the elite division, competitors would be looking at that. Either they're really happy and they've practiced a move like this a million times, or they're like, oh no, this is not good.
Or better yet, both.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here's an inventive strategy. Grabbing both sides and now weaving around into there. Okay. The time limit on this course better be like 8 minutes, because if they have to do this under a tight time limit...
Alex, it's the elites. They will have to do it under a tight time.
Yeah! Yeah.
That's how the competition works for these guys.
Okay, so there's the first jump. Now
So
we have to
make
do that
another
move again.
It never ends for our elites. They
No.
pop it. So it's nice to see that the course demonstrator is beating this obstacle, but it's worth noting that there is 6 obstacles before they even get to this point.
7.
7. So even more. And we're still not we're still not at the final obstacle. The course demo has proven that it can be beaten. He, of course, himself is an exceptional ninja. But this is good, Alex. You know, I think the ninjas come down for a challenge. They're not here to have a walk in the park run. They want something that defines and decides who is the best ninja on that given day. They don't want someone doing the best time. And I think what might be interesting is that perhaps the earlier placed ninjas, since they're not going to be as pushed for time and perhaps the distance they get in the run is going to be more important, they might have a really strong chance here to rectify their mistakes in the previous runs.
I'm going to take a look at Brett Sims here doing this tech move. Now, we see a lot of teenagers going for interesting tech moves like that. Brett Sims has been doing ninja since 2007, so longer than some of these competitors in the Elite Division have been alive, and he just flashed it.
Yeah, I think that's how Brett designs these obstacles. He designs them for himself, and then everyone else is punished as a result.
Certainly true. Brett, once upon a time, back at Ninja Quest in 2018, didn't make it to Stage 3. He went out late in Stage 2. He demoed Stage 3. What's up, Enzo? He made it to Stage 3 and made it further than any of the competitors that actually made it to Stage 3 did.
That's the problem with test demos is sometimes we pick ones that are way that's beyond belief what you just said. That blows my mind that he managed to do that.
What is he gonna try? Okay, yeah, no.
Well, at least the competitors know what they have to do. They know the beta.
Yeah.
Brett's demonstrated it for them. They now have the idea, and these are the elites. This is what we ask of our ninjas. We ask them to be the best of the best of the best, and I'm sure they've all practiced this many times over.
Yeah, maybe if you give Phil Folsom like 100 attempts, he can get that underhook move, but yeah, please just go for the regular beta, everybody.
Unless one of them's looking to have too much fun and just go all out and just send it for that underhook. But it goes to show, I think they will all prove fine on that obstacle, but with the forearms burning from the previous ones, and it's worth noting that through this demo, we still haven't even seen the other adaptations that have happened.
Oh, okay. Well, I was wondering if the salmon ladder was going to come into play. I figured it wasn't, and I guess it is.
Potentially. It looks like this run is going to be full of surprises here, Alex. It just never ends. This is going to be an awesome run.
Okay, well, John David Spatola did very well in the teen division. Just missed out on a qualifying spot, though. He's going to get a chance to show what he's got for our elite audience.
can just see all the elites just kind of scheming on the sidelines, trying to figure out the best approach, figuring out what their beta is going to be. And it's really good to see all these demos, that it's well explained to the athletes, that they know what they need to do. And then they've just got to decide their method and execute on it.
It's almost like Brett saw that 13 people cleared last week at Ferox, and he's like, yeah, no, that's not happening on my watch.
Yeah, he wants one champion. He wants one person to finish, I think. And that's about it.
Well, this
Okay,
infamous
big
salmon
jump.
ladder move, it's hard to tell from that angle, but there's also a downwards rung facing them, so they have to, and that swings, doesn't it? Yep. My goodness.
So just adding to the forearm burns here for our elite level ninjas. You can see our course demo. So that is the final obstacle, I believe, Alex.
Okay. That makes sense. So they do the warped wall, they do that slider obstacle, and then salmon ladder to cliffhanger is the last obstacle.
Just a terrific forearm burner to finish off, and to see which athletes have been training their forearms throughout the who's been training their endurance. That looks like the question of today. Honestly, if we look at what the strength is required to complete this course, it looks like endurance is a key part of this.
Well, 11 obstacles are in front of our competitors. It is far and away the most grueling course we've seen in the Premier Series so far. Remains to be seen if it'll be the most grueling course that we see throughout all of the Premier Series competitions. We still have 6 more weeks of intense competition. Like we said a moment ago, Ninja Academy coming up next week, and we're going to see the Australian athletes face a course that you've kind of teased we might not see any clears in.
No,
Will we see any clears today? I
genuinely.
certainly hope
I think
so.
that's the general rule of thumb with an Australian course. Yeah, but I'm excited. This scares me. Seeing the Elite Division, the course has been taken to another level this week. It goes without saying. There's day and light difference between last week's. Last week's was a speed course, and that played to some ninja strengths. This one is a grit course. This one, I believe we're seeing another obstacle in front of us, Alex, as well, if I'm not wrong. You can see some of our ninjas just starting to scope it out. So it's like a whole new course.
Yeah, I think what's happening there, because I was wondering, it's just kind of like a UFO slider. What's so special about it? But I think the handles are floating monkey bar handles that you're going to have to put into that apparatus and then use the handles to slide down and then place the handles on the side there.
Yeah.
As everybody
fear
take a
is
minute to visualize it.
You can see them popping. You can see that they've got to pop with the handles. And my fear is they're going to get one in, but they're going to miss the other one because it's such a technical move to get both in at the same time.
Certainly true. And with the intensity of the course before it, it's very possible that these athletes are going to come into this obstacle without any retries in their pocket.
That is also very much worth noting for any of the listeners that are just tuning in. Athletes do get a retry. I almost personally forgot about that because I was blown away by the intensity of the course. But yeah, athletes get 2 retries. You can only use 1 retry per obstacle. So if you fail an obstacle a second time, you're out. And I think we're going to be seeing those retries used a fair few times from our competitors.
Yeah, no kidding.
Once again, we can see the format. These 2 retries is a new innovation for the World Ninja League, and it's a great innovation because it means that athletes can take risks, they can go for these big moves, and we can see obstacles that we wouldn't usually see in competitions because athletes have these extra retries. And it says longer course on the requirements, and it goes without saying that this is the longest course that we have seen so far in the Premier Series.
Yeah. Jay Lewis won last week with a sub-minute time. Now, obviously, it's very fun to see a variety of different course styles. I don't think anyone expected anywhere in the ballpark of the results that we got at Ferox a week ago. But that was a very technical course that kind of evolved into a speed course that required you to use all kinds of technical moves very quickly. This is, very technical, of course, but more of a test of grip and endurance.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing any sub-minute times here, Alex.
No.
That's for sure.
No. I don't think there's any way we're seeing sub 3.
Yes. No, I'm excited to see what time limit they're given as well, because If there's anything I know about the elite division, it'll be enough time, but they will be very much pushed time limit that they have. Alex, who do you think's going to be the first athlete to clear this? How many runs do you reckon it's going to take?
I don't know that anyone's going to clear this.
You have little faith in our elites. I believe that any one of these individuals can pull it out the hat. I reckon my guess is number 7. It's not necessarily to do anything with a specific competitor. I just think as we get to the later competitors and they've seen other people run, they will learn from their mistakes and be able to incorporate it. So my bet's on Enzo Wilson to be our first clear, but we'll see. As we line up with one of our strongest competitors, Leo Riveron, came out early with an early upset in the placement course, but is now looking to rectify that mistake in the challenge course.
All right, well, I think an additionally fun guessing game is, by the way, it looks like he might have ripped on his left hand. It's quite taped up there compared to when we first saw him today. I think a very fun game is going to be guess what time limit Brett sent for these competitors. If it's 2:45, I might just leave.
The elites would just leave at that. No, I'm sure. Well, Leo, regardless, is going to be setting the standard for our ninjas and showing us just how difficult this course is. We really don't know what to expect until we see the best of the best take on this course.
3:45. That's a little better.
3:45 on the clock. So they're going to be pushed.
Well, he's around the shrinking steps, making his way through the spinning logs. This hasn't changed basically at all weekend. But this has switch grip. And where's that second board? What?
They've gotten rid of it.
Yeah? Oh, they've moved it. There it is. Oh, they're further apart now.
Yeah, which could be arguably... It could be hard, it could be easier. It gives them more time to, I guess, think about the moves that they're undertaking, but also means that they're up there for longer and have to use more of their energy per lache.
Oh,
and
this
now,
is
Alex,
now.
we're getting our first look at this obstacle.
They must not be doing the toss-up then. I see.
We're doing the monkey hop instead. This is going to be an interesting one. This is our first look at this obstacle. As Leo tries to sink the first 2 handles in. It has to make a pop here. This is going to be insane.
And he has to match them perfectly, which he does!
Incredible
Leo, great
work.
start. Now, he couldn't get the hop into those cradles to try to dismount.
Luckily, we have this retry here. Leo now understands what the obstacle is like. It's clear that the moving component is more stiff than what we would have anticipated, which is fantastic. But yeah, he's gonna be gassed. The time limit is now at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. His second attempt.
Well, he gets the hop in.
Okay, he gets the. Now, Alex, this is the big one. This is the one we just came unstuck.
Now, I wonder if athletes are gonna just try to dismount from there instead of trying to go into the cradles, because Leo just fell again.
I believe that they would. It's probably a requirement that they would have to pop them in there.
You can't require it.
True.
WNL rules state that you cannot dictate a particular move on an obstacle. I mean, obviously, tremendous work by Leo doing as well as he did on that obstacle. But I'm wondering what exactly the motivation is for hopping the bars out of that apparatus into the cradles.
Well, yeah, we've seen an early exit from our first competitor, but now we're on to Isaac Sullivan, who is one of the top level athletes that'll be competing here today. He came out early, an unexpected early exit, but showing his pace here so far on this run.
6th in the power rankings in the elite male division. He has set the Midwest aflame over these past few seasons. So strong.
Yeah, he has a 15.5 foot lache, so proving that he can fly through the air, and hopefully that's going to help him coming into monkey hop, the infamous new obstacle that has taken out our first ninja, and hopefully doesn't claim a second. Playing it smart here.
Uh-oh. There we go.
Lining up the first hop, and gets it. Now
okay, well,
into
here's
the second
scene
one.
of crime.
Let's see what he goes with.
Misses it.
Oh.
Missed both of them, actually.
that move is proving to be more difficult than we expected. Of course, these are being tested by course demoers, but when you're in the mix, when you're under the pressure, it's another story. Isaac now gearing up, showing a good beta just at least for the initial part of Monkey Hop. And now getting ready for that first hop.
Yeah,
And he sticks it.
thankfully that's been the easier part. I'm kind of surprised that this has been the more difficult part. He's got to extend outward, and he missed it again. So 0 for 4 now on that movement, as Isaac Sullivan goes down just as we saw happen to Leo a little bit ago.
The monkey hop is proving to be quite devastating for some of our top level athletes, and I think some of the other elite level ninjas would be a bit concerned now that we're only getting to the 4th obstacle here, and our elite level athletes are coming unstuck. You can just see how difficult and how technical of a move that is. You have to keep them precisely at the same height, and you have to land that grip. That's a tough one, Alex.
We'll see if Kirby Coggins is up to the task. And I think that those cradles might be pretty wide, actually. When Isaac went for them, he caught them on one side but not the other. If they were narrower cradles, then they would probably be better equipped to get that extension out of the apparatus.
That's very true. Well, I guess all we can do is be optimistic that Kirby has what it takes. He had a great performance in the placement runs, of course.
Close call there, though.
Yeah, very close call. It had me worried there. We're not seeing ninjas have too much of a trouble with switch grip, which is good to see for our elite level athletes. You know, this is their bread and butter. They do stuff like this all of the time, even though it's such a difficult obstacle that has knocked out so many ninjas so far. Oh,
unable to make the first switch
grip. Just as I
grip.
say that, Kirby is out, but luckily he has another retry. This will be his one and only retry on this obstacle.
Yeah, and if he gets to Monkey Hop, he would still have both retries, or two attempts like the other ninjas, because remember, you can't use both retries on the same obstacle. You do get 2 of them. Making the grab.
so
now he's doing the kind of hand shuffle technique that we've seen some of our other athletes do in other divisions. And it's working for him.
Now this is the final grab.
Got it.
And he gets it. I'm rooting for these ninjas so much at the moment, just because of how difficult this course is, Alex. That was close.
That was very close. Yeah, had me worried there.
I have my fingers crossed as Kirby now gets 2 attempts at monkey hops if he needs it. He still has 1 retry in his back pocket that he can utilize on this obstacle. This has taken out our first 2 ninjas. Will Kirby be the first one to overcome this obstacle?
Well, we've had 2 very high quality athletes go out on it so far, Leo Riveron and Isaac Sullivan. Strength, not so much the issue, it was more just matching that last move, something that the athletes haven't done before, as we can see just how difficult that initial move is on Monkey Hop, as Kirby wasn't able to get either bar in, actually.
Kirby now lining up for his second and last attempt on Monkey Hop. He came unstuck here, but he's going to rectify his mistakes, hopefully.
Oh, no! And that is our third victim of the Monkey Hop.
The Monkey Hop is being a surprisingly, deceptively difficult obstacle that is taking out all of our best ninjas so far. And you can just see here, he had a very consistent run coming into this, and those retries coming into full effect here. But now with the Monkey Hop, it's proving that it's not only difficult at the end of the obstacle, but also in that first transition.
So
I wonder what the other ninjas are thinking. You know, we've seen 3 competitors now come out on the exact same obstacle, and I think the other ninjas would be worried.
They should be worried, having seen 3 very strong athletes go down on it. But Brooks Bieber is a young man who has made it very far in Stage 3 before. This is really starting to become a Stage 3.
It is feeling like one. It's a Stage 3 with a few retries in between. But as you said, Brooks Bieber is the man to do it. He has a plethora of experiences, a great resume when it comes to ninja. And if there's anyone that's going to get past this, it's him. He came out early on the placement run, wasn't his strongest of performances, but he's looking to make amends and go all out here as he moves into monkey hop with the fastest time we have seen to this point.
Very quick. If
The only
anyone's
question
going to
is,
do
will-
it, Brooks Bieber might be the guy.
Can he break this cycle that we're currently caught in?
Okay, well, first part's
Guess
done.
the first one. This is the big one, though, Alex. This is the one that has broken competitors.
Oh, he's got it!
Yes!
And that is why they have to make that jump, because you have to put one of the bars into that cradle, and that helps you dismount. I really don't think you'll be able to dismount from that sliding apparatus as he moves onto the jumping spider.
Alex, and he's moving on to the jumping spider with 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. This is undeniably an incredible pace to be moving through this course at. And this has potential to complete this entire thing if he can keep executing.
Yeah, 4 obstacles to go, and they're all upper body burners.
Yep, and this is an obstacle that we're familiar with. We've seen our team divisions and every other division undertake this obstacle in different and unique ways. The spinal tap is purely designed to burn the forearms, just to get the lactic acid going and make sure that you hopefully fall on later obstacles, basically.
I imagine that the elite athletes, as Brooks is starting to get his arms crossed, thankfully rotates around, are going to have to use the descending handles as well. And in fact, they are.
Yep, that's the elite division for you. When in doubt, make it harder.
Yep. Thought about an early dismount, realized he couldn't make it, and is in fact going to have to take those handles out. Brooks paving the way for our later competitors.
And this obstacle really does have a rock climbing kind of vibe. It feels like that they're scaling the under end of a cave, which is always really cool to see. But now we are moving on to one of our more technical obstacles, Cane Slider. This has broken Ninja's dreams in the previous divisions, but now we're stepping up to the elites. They know how to handle this. It's a reverse grab into that hook, into the hole. Let's see how he goes.
Well, he's already proven his technical ability once today. Can he do it again? Oh, wow, he got caught up. As soon as he grabbed that cane, he was done for. But he does get a retry. This is the first of his 2.
Hopefully Brooks can complete this obstacle and set a real good standard for the ninjas that are left to come. 50 seconds on the clock.
We got it!
And he gets it!
First
And Alex,
on a deja vu.
We saw this in the course demos. This is brutal to say the least. The elite ninjas have to pull off some very technical maneuvers, some forearm burning endurance level stuff, and you can see Brooks powering through this to begin.
Yeah, we saw this
He's
technique
now
out of
lining-
David Fuderin. The first of 2 big bar hops. Gets it.
And it's just
19 seconds.
All the time that he's up there, it'll be burning the forearms and still making him do these massive laches with 10 seconds on the clock.
He has time to at least beat this obstacle, but he came up short, just ran out of gas, and he's not going to have enough time to attempt it again. What a run by Brooks Bieber.
Yeah. Despite coming early in this competition, he has set a great precedent for these competitors coming through. And they're going to have a tough time trying to beat that run. That was all around, despite having a fall on Cane Slider. He made amends and set a run that is proving that this course is potentially beatable, but it's going to take a really good ninja to pull it off. But yeah,
Brooks.
as we look at those standings there, we can see that the first 3 competitors have all come out on the 3rd obstacle, apart from Brooks Bieber, who comes out on Cane Slider with a time of 2:56. So you know that all the other competitors are going to be eyeing up that spot and trying to beat it.
Honestly, you never know if you're a guy like Isaac Sullivan sitting in that 2nd place. You never know how many are actually going to beat Monkey Hop as we see Jonathan Castaneda take to the course.
Yes, we're about to see, has the curse of Monkey Hop been broken? Brooks Bieber has completed it, and hopefully Jonathan can follow suit and move on to the back end of this course. As we move into switch grip,
Just
which
barely
is
getting that
incredibly
backhand.
difficult. It's a difficult obstacle for our elite level ninjas, lashing further than we've seen before. But again, these are the elites. They know how to do this obstacle, and Jonathan is making light work as we move on to the monkey hop.
Well, so far everyone has beaten switch grips, which is nice to see, and we are going to start eliminating athletes as we've now had 5 athletes defeat the third obstacle, which is a requirement for making the finals. The other is getting in the top 4, and Jonathan is not able to get into the monkey hop. He does get a second attempt.
Alex, this is his second and final attempt on monkey hop. Let's hope that he doesn't become the next victim on the list of this brutal obstacle. It's not necessarily that it's the most difficult, it's that it's such a technical pop.
He's going to go try to do it backwards if he gets the hooks in, which he didn't. And if he would have made that, that would have been very interesting to see how the backwards technique would have worked.
Now, the question we have to ask ourselves is, will that be enough to keep him in the top 4? He was clearly one of the fastest competitors to that point. However, it is arguable that that may not be enough for Jonathan to stay in that top 4.
It was.
However,
he's
only
currently
time's
in
going to
third.
tell.
He's currently in 3rd place, but with Kirby Coggins eliminated, now Leo Riveron on the bubble, I don't know how safe that run was. We'll have to see.
It's hard to say.
Well, Sama Acha would like to make sure it is not safe at all, as beating monkey hop would put Jonathan on the bubble.
He's now moving through with great pace as we come into switch grip. It's just designed to burn the forearms, really, for these ninjas. It's a technical obstacle, but when you're at the elite level, it's not as technical for them. And it's just really just making them hold lock off, gas out the forearms before we get on to these really difficult obstacles.
But that said, we have seen a number of athletes fall on that obstacle today.
Definitely. That is undeniable.
It's not a gimme
been
by any
killer.
means.
And now let's see how he goes on monkey hop. Alex, I want to see him through and so that we can see further into this course.
Needs a nice controlled hop here. Hence the name of the obstacle. But he really had trouble getting the bars out of the cradles. He needs to get up quite a bit more. Otherwise, he had the right idea.
Yeah, I think the success in the competitors have come from those who pop the highest, and it gives them the most time on the way down to pick their spot. And when we're talking about the time they have, it's a matter of milliseconds. So let's see on his second and final attempt.
Oh, he gets it this time.
The first one.
But this move has proven to be extremely difficult. Only Brooks Bieber has made it.
He's lining up the first pop.
And he only gets one shot. Oh, had the right idea.
Once again, this monkey hop obstacle is proving to be deceptively difficult. You know, at face value, you wouldn't expect it, but as soon as we see our elite level ninjas, the best of the best, coming up against this obstacle, it is proving to be so difficult. And we can just see the precision that is required in order to make that transition. And looking at the leaderboards once
unfortunately,
again.
Sama Acha finishing outside of the top 4. So Leo Riveron safe for now.
Okay, we're really starting to get into the pointy end of the business now, Alex, with some of our highest seeded competitors now coming into the course. They will not only be looking to go as fast as they can to monkey steps. Well, I take that back. Eric is taking his time so far, but hopefully is going to pick up the pace as we come into the switch grip.
He's 21st in the power rankings, and I know a lot of you could easily name 21 elite male ninjas, so being 21st in the power rankings is a giant accomplishment.
And it's worth noting that he's a 5-time world champion finalist. So if there is one person who can beat this course under the pressure, it's going to be Eric. He knows how to be consistent. That is one thing that is evident from his resume.
Immediately going for a bunch more chalk. Just inside of 3 minutes. Wearing the Lower Marion Kobe Bryant jersey, by the way. Rest in peace, Kobe.
And it's worth noting that it's hard to say having... Oh, no. I was just about to say that having seen all the other ninjas fail on this point, all except Brooks Bieber, it's hard to say whether that's playing into his mental game, knowing and overestimating how difficult this obstacle is. It can always be a key factor when you see other ninjas get stuck. But
knowing Eric, all he is focused on is his own ability, is very good at focusing on an obstacle and Unfortunately, there you can tell he's frustrated, just wasn't able to make that second move.
Eric coming out earlier than he would have hoped. You can just see there how technical of a transition that is. He got the first grab on his second attempt, but that second one is even more difficult than the first. He almost got it though. It looked like it was going to go in.
Well, here's our fourth to last runner, Enzo Di Ferrari Wilson. And with this, if any of these four athletes, well, I guess if two of these four athletes fail monkey hop, Isaac Sullivan or whoever gets to monkey hop the fastest would be in.
Yeah, I think Enzo has realized that and is going as fast as he can to that fourth obstacle, monkey hop. And he is setting a cracking time here as we move towards seeing him on monkey hop. This will be one of the fastest times there, and this is the benefit, Alex, of going later, is you know what you need to beat to secure your spot.
Very true, and he's right into monkey hop, wasting no time.
Now lining it up.
Gets the first.
I don't think Enzo just came here to get top 4. I think he came here to win. And
yes,
he's
he did.
He's looking confident.
Oh, he gets one in, and that's all that matters. Oh, wow. What resiliency to hang on with one hand.
That is what we get from our elite level ninjas, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
we
sir.
get the best of the best. Enzo crushing monkey hop. And now moving into the back end of this course with the fastest time we have seen so far.
Definitely threatening Brooks Bieber's time as he moves on to Spinal Tap with 2:35 to go. Only a minute and a little bit off of his time limit.
I am beyond excited to see this man take on Spinal Tap, move into the back end of this course. And for those who haven't seen the back end of this course yet, if you miss Brooks Bieber's run, it is tough. It only gets harder. It doesn't get easier. Enzo, we've seen him all throughout this week promoting his work, the great work that he does in the community, and it's now incredible to see him just crushing it on the ninja course as well. Now coming down the back end of Spinal Tap, which is basically like traversing an upside down rock climbing wall. It's tough, it's burning the forearms. You have to precisely place these handles in the locks whilst it presses down on your forearms and demands more of you each time. But Enzo's going to be looking for that dismount here.
Reels it in.
Okay, now we get onto a technical obstacle, Alex. This took out Brooks Bieber earlier, but he managed to complete it on his second go. Let's see how Enzo goes as he lines up.
I want to know, he took about a minute and a half on Spinal Tap as well, so his time limit's starting to tick away, but he gets Cane Slider first try. That's going to vault him over Brooks Bieber, and Enzo Di Ferrari Wilson is heading to Brooklyn.
An incredible effort so far, but Enzo's work is not done. He's going for that course completion. The question is does he have the gas?
Well, he has the time.
He has the time. He looks fine on this obstacle so far. The question is can he keep it up as he transitions the bar ready for the next hop? Now, this is a big lâché, Alex. He's really got to send it here.
32 seconds. Has time for a retry, I suppose. And is going to need it.
Oh.
That is a long hop.
Does he have the gas to go through all of that again to get to that same spot? That is another question. You can see him there. His arms look pumped. It's hard to say whether or not he can pull off those giant lâchés again.
Now, he just grabbed the bar.
Is he trying a new strategy here?
Yeah, he was trying to underhook it to save time.
What a great technique that a lot of the other ninjas are now going to be using.
Okay, going for the quick
hop.
around technique, so I guess he does have the gas. Doesn't have the time to complete the whole course. But if he makes this move, he would at least be the first today to beat Deja Vu.
He looks so tired.
No, he does not have the gas. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen Enzo Di Ferrari Wilson tired. And I have just seen Enzo Wilson tired.
This does have a stage 3 course vibe. It feels it's getting towards that difficulty of this really being the pinnacle of what our ninjas are capable of. And you can see that one of the best ninjas out there has been unable to take on this course, but taking out a great first place finish for the time being. The question remains, though, will someone take it out?
Well, there's 3 athletes remaining, all of them incredibly talented, and from 3 different countries, mind you, as Silas Snyder of Canada will be our third to last runner.
Silas has now seen the standard that has been set and raised, to be truthful. No longer is it just expected for you to get to Monkey Hop as quickly as possible. You really need to get past it and get onto the back end of this course if you want to have a chance at being in that top 4 potentially.
Leo Riveron was eliminated with that last run. Jonathan Castaneda on the bubble as Silas is making good work of switch grips. Very controlled swings.
Yeah, I think Silas is playing the long game here. He's not just going for Monkey Hop to the fastest time. He's going for that top spot. He proved his worth and his abilities in that placement course where he secured the third fastest run, securing a sub-30 time. Silas has been fast, and we're now seeing him take his time as he lines up Monkey Hop.
Not getting it, though.
misses.
And if
Once
he
again,
misses this on
proving-
the second attempt, then all our last 2 runners will have to do is beat this obstacle to qualify for the finals.
Silas, the pressure is on, and the question is, can he cope under the pressure? I hope he can as he lines up the hop.
He cannot! So the long game does not pay off, and Silas Snyder finds himself in 4th for now, but with
Whether or
2
not
very
that will
strong
be
runners
held
behind
onto.
him.
Yeah, with the 2 highest seeded runners still to come, we can see him right on the edge there. But I don't know if that's going to hold as we have our two of our best ninjas stepping up.
18-year-old Yuri Prokudin, an incredibly talented athlete in a number of different facets of our sport. Made to stage 2 at Worlds a year ago, was 2nd place in Gauntlet, and gave Joe Meisner a run for his money.
Yeah, Yuri definitely proved his abilities in that placement run. It was flawless in terms of the technique, and we are seeing, hopefully, we're going to see someone challenge that top spot now as Yuri lines up the 4th grab on switch grip, and now for the dismount.
So that will eliminate Silas Snyder. Yuri would currently be in 4th place.
Yeah, and I think Yuri's sights are set on something grander than 4th place. He's definitely got the talent to be able to take out that top spot. If he can, yeah, he gets the first grab for Monkey Hop, but the second one, Alex, this is the one this is the killer.
Oh, and he just missed it. Looks like he had the exact right idea and just pushed the apparatus maybe a little bit too far forward as he's getting a little bit of advice on how to complete this obstacle.
Alex, I don't want to see Yuri come out here. I want to see Yuri go right to the end. And I'm sure he does too, as he lines up for his second and final attempt on Monkey Hop.
This
Gets
is
the first one
nerve-wracking.
with ease, but it's the second one that kills.
Well, he has it lined up a little bit better this time. And it pays
He
off.
gets it!
Just has to get into that cradle and make the dismount. And he's done it. Yuri Prokudin has secured his spot at Ferox in November, but so much more still on the table.
Yuri with 2:15 on the clock. He's lost a bit of time, of course, having to reset on Monkey Hop. Not only that, but the energy loss of having to deal with starting on a new obstacle. And the question is how much gas does he have in the tank? And how quickly can he get through Spinal Tap, which is just designed to burn your forearms and run down the clock, truthfully.
Yeah, we saw Enzo take about 1.5 minutes on this obstacle.
But Yuri is moving through quickly and making sure to conserve energy in his approach as he now lines up. He's going lower and lower, using the length of his body to really increase the gaps and save himself some time. This is a quick time through this obstacle, and he's definitely made up some ground on the current leaders.
3 obstacles remaining, but only 1:20 to beat them. He does have a retry in his back pocket still, but he wants to save that if at all possible. Not least because retrying would cost him time.
Cane Slider is a very technical obstacle, and Yuri lines it up and just comes unstuck. He will get one more go, Alex, with 1:05 on the clock. He has secured his top 4 spot. That is undeniable, but he's going to have to complete the next 2 obstacles to secure that first place.
He's running out of time to do so.
Yuri now lining it up.
Gets it with
That's
one
it.
hand, and he holds on the
What?
whole way down. What have I just witnessed?
That is just an insane display of strength. To hold that cane whilst it goes down with one arm, it's a testament to Yuri and how amazing of a ninja he is. What a standout.
That might be the greatest save I have ever seen, and I've seen some pretty great saves.
Yeah, I don't think even the audience can fathom how difficult that is to hold on to in that moment. Now, the question is, Alex, can he continue on this path of great trajectory and finish this obstacle? Be the first ninja with 18 seconds on the clock. This is going to be close.
No retries and no time to attempt the final obstacle if he gets there. But this is the hop that no one has made so far. A very long hop after all this, but he has the swing to do it, and he gets it. Got to get out of there.
He's got to get the dismount.
Yuri Prokudin moves into first place just in the nick of time.
Yuri will be very happy with that performance. Just a standout run and a real underdog performance, falling on that monkey hop and still securing the win so far. We can see on his first attempt he missed it. The morale is low, but on the second go he sticks it. Perfect execution. Coming into Kane's slide, he sets himself in the right mood. Tom Alberti has a mountain to climb in order to take that top spot from Yuri. But he is the man to do it. He's our top-seeded competitor for a reason.
Skips the bar right onto the first hold. Knows what he needs to do to get into the finals, knows what he needs to do to get first place, and probably knows the pace he needs to set if he wants to be the only athlete to hit the buzzer. And that might have actually been faster than Isaac already securing his spot even if he fails his hand.
Yeah, I believe that was the fastest we have seen to that point. We'll have to check the standings afterwards, but we know that Tom's got his eyes set on that top spot. So
yeah.
Getting into top 4 is not his mission at the moment.
After just barely missing top 4 last week, he's not going to settle for top 4 this week. He wants more than that. But he is going to have to take a second attempt at monkey hop.
Just as we saw earlier, we saw Yuri have to take that second attempt, and he thrived under the pressure. Tom, his life is on the line here as he lines up for his second go on monkey hop.
Having some trouble now reeling in. And if the nerves are starting to get to him. And he missed it again. We only saw 3 athletes beat that obstacle. It's going to come down to time, and I have checked the time. 24 seconds was faster than Isaac, so Tom will be disappointed for the second time in a row coming off the course. But the good news is this time, it is the top 4 that gets him back to Ferox.
Well, Alex, if you know what that means Yuri has claimed our top spot today and is our champion for today's division. What a notable run, just all round, hands down the best run that we've seen today.
Very true. Incredible stuff. It turns out that monkey hop, the 4th obstacle, became probably the biggest crux we've seen so far in this Premier Series season as we take one more look at the winning run from Yuri.
Yeah, Yuri, well deserved that. Utilized both of his retries. But what I think stood out as a competitor is he dealt with himself during the difficult moments, during the intense moments, but he had incredible endurance throughout this run. He didn't stop that entire time for rest. And despite making 2 mistakes, he still managed to get the furthest that we've seen.
It's unfortunate that we didn't get the one-handed save into the highlight package because that was tremendous stuff.
Yeah, that one-handed save was insane. And yeah, you just got to commend him for dealing with that under the pressure. And it's worth noting that we saw some incredible runs from Enzo and Brooks Bieber. Just all-round star
is this
athletes.
it?
We get to see
this
the
is it!
transition.
Yes! It did make the highlight package!
There we go, Alex. What move. What a save.
Absolute legendary moment for a legendary performance. That is a moment we are going to remember for a long time to come. I talk to some Movement Lab New Jersey kids sometimes when I'm out there,
Yeah.
doing work for Chris, and they still remember back in 2016 when Jeff Britton made a one-handed save on the last obstacle of stage 1. And that might have been even better. Although this was also an incredible save by Enzo Di Ferrari Wilson, able to
Yeah.
make only one of the 2 bars into its cradle, but it didn't matter.
Enzo securing that second spot, again, a deserving competitor. This Elite Division course has pushed our ninjas. You know, we were hoping to see a finish today, but I think what we got was a display of incredible resilience from our ninjas, a real fight for grit and determination, and just looking at that leaderboard, all the top 4 deserved those places
Yes.
well and truly. And a big shout out to Brooks Bieber, who took on the course early on, broke that that chain of everyone falling on Monkey Hop, and managed to get all the way to Obstacle 7.
What a phenomenal performance by our podium. And I'm personally really happy for Tom Alberti, even though I'm bummed for Isaac, a fellow Midwesterner. Tom managed to sneak his way into the top 4 after just missing out a week ago, so the second effort proved worth it, and maybe that gives some of the competitors that cleared the course at Ferox, but didn't get a chance to clear. Enzo always playing it up for the camera. Maybe that gives them a little bit of pause to try to go give Austin and Modus a run for their money.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I think if there's one thing that we've learned today, it's that the courses can be a stage 3 style. That we can invent these courses that are not just about speed, but they're really here to test our ninjas, and we can just see Enzo there once again. And I think what I'm excited for in the weeks to come is to see more of these courses. I know personally from an Australian perspective that for those tuning in next week, you will likely see a course that is just as gritty and just as difficult and pushes them to their absolute limits.
I cannot wait for that. 6 qualifiers still upcoming. So, I mean, we've had an insane first 2 competitions, and we still have 6 of these left.
Yeah, it goes without saying. I can't wait either. I hope everyone comes down and continues to watch all of these streams and gets to see the diverse range of competitions that we have coming up. You know, not just in the US, but we have Australia, the Europeans, and we have Israel, of course.
Well, I will let us get right to that waiting then. For Jack Anderson, Mary Layton, and Kane Casillas, I am Alex Cunningham. Thank you for tuning in for the second of our 8 qualifiers of the World Ninja League Premier Series. We will see you next week down under in Perth, Australia. But until then, good night from South Carolina.
Awesome. That was nuts.